Your FastMCP server runs fine locally, but Claude Desktop needs precise control over Python versions, dependencies, and project paths to make it work reliably. We'll configure the exact UV command structure in mcpServers to ensure your server launches with the right environment every time. No more guessing why it fails to load.
mcpServers. Dice roller. Command UV. args. Run. Python 3.11. Project path to project. With FastMCP. FastMCP. Run. Path / your /server. Pi.
This demonstrates the configuration as code pattern for dependency management and environment isolation. The JSON structure declares both the execution environment and runtime requirements in a single, version-controlled artifact, separating deployment concerns from application logic. What makes this distinctive is how it combines package management, Python version pinning, and project context into a declarative manifest that the runtime consumes directly. The pattern works by externalizing all environment setup into a structured configuration file. FastMCP uses this blueprint to construct an isolated execution context with precise dependencies, Python version, and working directory before launching the server. This follows the principle of infrastructure as code, where the entire runtime environment becomes reproducible and self-documenting through the configuration itself. This approach solves the works on my machine problem for AI tool integrations by guaranteeing consistent execution environments. It's particularly valuable when deploying tools to constrained environments like Claude Desktop, where you can't assume pre-installed dependencies or shell access. The trade-off is initial setup complexity, but the payoff is reliable, portable tools that behave identically across development and production. Let's break it down line by line. This opens a JSON configuration object. The outer structure defines server configurations for FastMCP, with each key representing a separate server instance.
mcpServers.
This defines the mcpServer configuration block. It declares one or more named server instances that FastMCP will manage, each with their own startup command and arguments. The key names like dice roller become the server identifiers used throughout the system.
Dice roller.
This defines a named server configuration called dice roller within the mcpServer registry. The key acts as both an identifier for this specific server instance and determines its accessible endpoint path. This follows FastMCP's service naming convention, where each server gets a unique, human-readable label for management and routing.
Command UV.
Specifies UV as the process runner, replacing Python's default interpreter. This uses the faster UV implementation for running Python code, significantly improving startup time and performance for FastMCP servers.
args.
This defines the command line arguments array for the process. Each string in this array becomes a separate argument when executing the UV run command, allowing precise control over the Python environment, project context, and FastMCP server initialization.
Run.
This is the FastMCP command to execute your server script. Without it, the CLI would only validate configuration instead of starting the service.
Python 3.11.
This explicitly sets the Python version to 3.11 for the FastMCP server process. Version pinning eliminates environment inconsistencies, preventing runtime errors from version mismatches between development and production.
Project path to project.
This specifies the project root directory for dependency isolation. The project flag ensures Uvicorn uses a dedicated virtual environment at the given path, preventing conflicts with system-wide or user-level Python packages.
With FastMCP.
This enables FastMCP's plugin system. The with flag loads the specified plugin, here FastMCP, which provides core server functionality like tool registration and execution. Without this, the server would start in a minimal mode with no AI callable capabilities.
FastMCP.
This specifies the FastMCP CLI command, telling the runner to execute in FastMCP mode. It enables the server to handle MCP protocol requests, including AI tool calls and progress reporting. Without this, the server would run as a generic Python process.
Run.
This is the FastMCP command to execute the server. Without it, the CLI would only validate configuration but not start the service. It triggers the actual server process defined in your server, py file.
path/to/your/server, py.
This specifies the entry point for your FastMCP server. The path must point to your server, py file containing the FastMCP app instance, which defines all available tools and routes. This is the execution target for the uv-run command that starts your MCP server. This closing square bracket terminates the args array for the dice roller server configuration. It finalizes the command line arguments that will be passed to uv-run, ensuring the server starts with the specified Python version, project path, and FastMCP integration. This closing brace terminates the dice roller server configuration block. It maintains valid JSON structure, ensuring the parser correctly interprets this as a complete server definition before moving to the next key value pair. This closing brace terminates the dice roller server configuration block, completing the nested JSON structure. It ensures proper scoping of all command and argument definitions within this specific MCP server instance. This closing brace terminates the JSON configuration object. It ensures valid JSON syntax, preventing parsing errors when the server reads this configuration. FastMCP server configuration. The MCP JSON configuration file bridges your Python code and the MCP client, defining how servers are launched with precise dependency management and environment control. The argument order in uv-run matters. Python version and project settings must precede package specifications to avoid silent failures. A well-structured configuration eliminates. It works on my machine problems by codifying the entire execution environment.
The server that never runs locally runs everywhere.